Kagurabachi, Kagurabachi, Kagurabachi. Man, what have I been missing out on this year? After almost a year of the release and the memes that this manga had for days on end, after I read the first chapter trying to see what the hype was all about, I stopped reading. Now, not to say that the first chapter was bad or boring or whatever. On the contrary, it's actually pretty good, especially for the first chapter. But it just didn't give me the feeling to go on to the next chapter. Until last night. Kagurabachi is an ongoing action-packed battle shonen manga published by Shonen Magazine on September 19th, 2023. Written and illustrated by Takeru Hokazono. Now, to give you guys a quick synopsis of the story, Kagurabachi is a revenge story involving our MC Chihiro Rokuhira, whose goal is to pretty much avenge his father's death and get back the 6 enchanted blades that his father made. Long ago, there was a war called the Sete War, and the enchanted blades played a big role in putting an end to it. Now, other people, knowing the power of them, want to use them for their own selfish goals. Now, at first, the way this manga got around was dead ass because of how cool the MC was, which is the first major thing I want to go over about in the series. The characters. Now, first starting off with our protagonist Chihiro Rokuhira, he follows the guidelines of what a badass shonen MC should have. No more existing family, and some drip that he wears in pretty much every chapter so far. Nah, I'm playing, but I guess the slight difference you can take away from Chihiro from other shonen MCs is that he's already pretty strong compared to most characters in the series so far, so we haven't gotten much of his development strength-wise 42 chapters in, but character-wise. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy is absolutely cold in damn near every panel we get of him, from his demeanor to his attitude down to the very way he fights, sneaking them, slicing and dicing them, you name it. But you see, all of this is just a front. At a very young age, Chihiro was a pretty serious, nonchalant kid, which is funny because in the first chapter and the little moments we get of his life with his father before he died, his father was more of a child than him. But at the end of the day, with all the jokes he'd make or his forgetfulness, Chihiro respected him, not just as a father, but as a man as well. Even so, with his death, no matter how nonchalant he could be, he still cried as his father's corpse was on the ground in front of him. From time to time here and there in the story, it's nice to see Chihiro show a little more emotion than he usually does, crack a joke or two. It's the wholesome moments like that where we really get to see the type of person our MC really is. Now, this series reminds me of another series by the name of Gintama. Some of you have heard it, and I'm sure even less of you have actually took the time to watch it. But the way Chihiro and the little group that he's got, almost like family in arms to him, reminds me a lot of Gintama's characters, mainly the Yorozuya, consisting of our MC Gintoki, Kagura, and Shin. The way this group acts towards each other is very much like how Chihiro, Shiba, Hinawa, and Char act, just like one big family who goes on jobs and helps others in times of need. I love the characters this series has to offer, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm starting to grow an attachment to some, especially this guy, but we'll talk about him later on in the video. See this badass right here? Well, her name is Hiyuki Kagari, and she reminds me a lot of the vice captain of the Shinsengumi, Hijikata Toshiro, and their interactions with the protagonists of their respective stories. Hiyuki is also a part of a group called the Kamunabi, which brings us to the next thing I want to discuss about in this video a little more, the groups. Now, obviously, 40 chapters into the story, we haven't really gotten introduced and have been given a whole lot of intel about the groups that I'm sure this manga has to offer in the near future, but nonetheless, I'd still like to talk about them. Now, you've already heard me talk a bit about the MC's group, but another group that we got introduced to pretty early on was a group called the Kamunabi. Now, think of them as the established good guys of the story, as their goal is to make peace and eliminate threats to their nation. One of the threats being the enchanted blades, as they are trying to retrieve all of them and make sure that they do not fall into the wrong hands. Now, I'm sure by now you can see the little conflict they have with Chihiro's group, being that they both want to collect the weapons for themselves for the sake of their somewhat aligned self-interest and goals. We've already been introduced to the leaders of this organization, and although we don't know anything about them, like dead ass nothing, like I don't even think we got their names. Like, I'm not gonna lie, these niggas are kind of moving like the Gorosei from One Piece, so I don't even know if I can trust them yet. But the characters that we were actually properly introduced to, give it up for the anti-Cloud Gurger squad. What kind of name is this team? At first sight reminded me of the Ryuzen 7 from Black Clover, not gonna lie, but they seem promising. Now obviously, from the lame ass name they got for a squad, they were supposed to retrieve the Kurigumo from the guy who had possession of it, named Sojo. Now, not only did this man have something the Kabunabi wanted, but he was also on their hit list for like a good decade, so this was really like killing two birds with one stone. Except them birds smashed the fuck out of that stone. I mean, this one nigga Kazane survived, so let's go, I guess, but like the rest of them died, and honestly I was rocking with the group as a whole. But man, that was something I was definitely not prepared for the author to do that quickly into the story. Obviously I didn't grow a crazy attachment to them because I dead ass couldn't, like it was that short, but I thought they were slowly gonna detach from the Kabunabi and slowly join Chihiro's group and go from there, cause not gonna lie, Chihiro's group is lacking some heavy hitters. Speaking of heavy hitters, let's talk about the fights in this manga. Man, the fights in this manga so far have been no joke, man. On top of the series' already great and clean art style, the fight choreography is insane. Obviously not like Sakamoto level, cause I'm not gonna lie, Suzuki's choreography on that series is low-key mind-blowing, but that's another video for another day. But Kagurabachi's choreography is pretty good in and of itself. Like when Chihiro was infiltrating the hideout to save Char, I loved how they handled Chihiro basically flash stepping throughout the place, having him disappear in one panel, reappear in the other with a bunch of decapitated heads and limbs already on the floor. Now yeah, Chihiro soloing a bunch of random fodder was cool and all, but the fight between him and Sojo really showed his capabilities in a one-on-one. I think what gets me about this choreography is the depiction of speed. Especially in this fight, it was smooth, but for the whole series, it's been pretty good. And honestly, if I didn't read a series like Sakamoto Days, I'd say that Kagurabachi was really up there with the greats like JJK in terms of fight choreography. Now, aside from how cool this fight was, this fight also had some deeper meaning into it. Now, I know you guys have been waiting for this, but this man Shoujo was a real G. Now, apart from the man's cool ass character design, I really think that the role Shoujo played in the story was amazing. Now, compared to other series, this isn't something crazy unique, but it's definitely something that you're not expecting this quick in the story. I definitely feel like Shoujo's character also broadened Chihiro's sort of view on his revenge and about the blades and how, you know, everyone has their own sort of depiction on why they were made and what their use actually is. Kind of strengthening Chihiro's will, but also letting him know, like, man, these blades, although his father made them, they are still dangerous to the nation. Now, I know Shoujo was really the first antagonist that we got in the story, but man, it really didn't feel like he was a bad guy. It really felt like he was more of a dark hero. Someone who had a different view, but not like a villainous view, if that makes sense. It really felt like Shoujo fell into more of the dark hero trope, which is kind of crazy because the MC and their whole group is supposed to be the quote-unquote dark hero or dark horses of the story. This fight was a battle between ideologies, between the son of Kunishige Rokuhira and his overly obsessed fan. A battle between who really understood more about his work, and most importantly, a clash of beliefs. Were the enchanted blades made for destruction or peace? Now, I for sure want to talk about this fight in particular more in the future, but you guys have to let me know in the comments if you're really trying to see that. I do have some words for the arc the manga is currently on, being the Rakuzachi arc, but I think I'm gonna hold my words till the arc reaches its climax, because I think it's about to, and have a separate video dedicated to that, because not gonna lie, this arc was actually pretty damn good. like best we've gotten yet, definitely. Overall, the point of this video is don't be like me living under a rock for damn near a year and go check out Kagurabachi. It is definitely worth it, and it is definitely still good of a read in 2024. If you're looking for something new yet nostalgic at the same time with a great cast of characters, all cool, badass, and likable, a very interesting power system, great art, and amazing fight choreography, then definitely give this series more than one chapter's worth of your time, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Anyways, if you enjoy this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and comment down below what other things Kagurabachi related do you guys want to see next on the channel. Reminder, of course, to check out the Twitter and the IG, as well as the Discord for updates and things of that nature. And without further ado, I hope you guys do have a good day, and see ya.